Hello everyone, welcome to the session. My name is Dr. Veeran from the Department of English Shift 2. I'd like to talk about the role of reading in the personal and professional growth. Before starting with the session, I want to place my gratitude to the secretary and the principal and the library and the LA club for giving me this chance. First, let me talk about what is reading. Reading is one among the four skills. Of course, this is a receptive skill because it gives information. Like when you read something, we get something in. That's why it is a receptive skill. Reading is source of knowledge for personal growth as well as professional growth. In the modern world, reading plays a crucial role both the personal growth and the professional growth. Personally, a person can enhance his thinking ability. When a person enhances his thinking ability, and he can face any kind of situations without any struggle, without any hesitation, because reading will give such confidence. When someone reads frequently, it's not simply reading the words or the sentences from the text or the papers, but through the text or the words or the sentences that he reads, he receives the minds of different experts, the minds of different scholars. So there he gathers the minds of people all over the world. When he gathers the minds of the people all over the world, where he shapes his life, he shapes his attitude, that will take a person to the next level. When a person has a good reading skill, he can enhance his language, he can improve his vocabulary strength. For a language, a person should have a sufficient vocabulary in his hand. Only then, can have he or she can have a good language skills. So when a person reads frequently, his language skills will get enhanced, his language will get improved. And not only the language, reading will make a person as a human being, will make a person to think as a human being. That is the quality of reading. That is what reading makes. So in the present era, we could see the people are getting moved away from reading because the digital platforms have arrived. People are concentrating on the digital devices. They don't spend much time on reading. But when you speak with those people, when you check with those people, they will have a lot of issues psychologically, because reading will reduces one's stress. Reading can make a person to stabilize psychologically. So that's what happening today. We could see a lot of people are not showing much interest on reading because they have received the digital platforms, the digital devices in their hand that makes them to avoid reading. But here, when a person concentrates more in the reading, he can make himself psychologically, he can keep himself psychologically strong. And how it helps for the professional growth. When a person into an office, when a person steps into an office where he or she has to be focused on a job which he was assigned, when he wants to be focused on his job, he needs to have good reading habit, because reading is not just a knowledge, but it's a lifelong habit that will shape one's attitude, that will shape one's life, that will shape one's profession. So only when he or she, focused on the job which is assigned to the person, he can sustain, he can stabilize with that the profession that he was given. And when an employee reads articles, when an employee reads journals, that will help him to gain the leadership skills. That will help him to gain the leadership skills. Because the leadership skills won't come just like that. It needs knowledge. It needs knowledge of others. How will a person get the knowledge of others? Only through the text, only through the journals, only through the articles. So, as I said already, those sentences, those words are mentioned in the text or the journals or the article. They are not just words or the sentences, but they are the minds of great people. They are the creation of experts. So, what happens when a person reads frequently, when a person makes reading his habit, he receives the minds of various people all over the world. So, there automatically he became a great leader. He became a leader. So, when you want to become a leader, you need to be focused on reading. You need to spend time for reading. Reading will give everything. And reading will help in the professionally to solve the issues. And even it will help us to prevent the problems. It will help us to forecast the problem in future. Because reading will give such ability for an individual. And reading is not, when I'm talking about the reading, it's not just, taking the words alone, but reading has to be understood. Like, when somebody reads, he has to understand what things have been read, what are the things have been written. Only then he is a good reader. Just reading for the namesake, you cannot call him as a reader, right? You can read for pleasure, you can read for the professional growth, you can read for examination, right? But we talk here about the professional growth. So once a person chooses his profession, he needs to spare the time for reading every day. When he spare time every day for reading, he or she can keep themselves updated, and they'll be very strong in the current affairs because they have to survive. They have to stabilize in the field because today we live in the highly competitive world. Just taking the profession, just stepping into the office, just being selected in a company is not just enough. That is not just enough. But there, when we step into the office where we have to stabilize, for which we need reading. Only through reading, these things are possible. Reading helps us to be a good decision maker. When a person reads, he will have the capacity to take the decision at any situation because taking the decision is important at the crucial time. One's mind has to be prepared for that. So, when we want to keep our mind to be ready to take decision at the crucial time, we need to spend time for reading. And reading helps us to diverse culturally. We can go beyond our geographical boundary through the text. We can go beyond the limit without spending money. We'll get to know what's happening in the other country through reading. Without traveling, we'll get to know the culture, or the language, or the way of life that people are taking in the other countries. That we'll get to know through reading. When a person has a good reading habit professionally, he can have a good language with which he can get connected with the neighboring country, neighboring state, and he can draft minutes, he can draft agenda. So these things are possible only through reading. So without reading, these things are not possible. So reading plays crucial role as long as a person is alive. So really, reading is always needed. Let me thank once again the management, the secretary, the principal, and the library NDLI club of Dwarakdas Gorandas Vaishnav College for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you once again.